bayan.
Puso sa titik mo'y buhay, lupang hinihinang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingin, sa dagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magtitindig, lumalang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay ng isang piling mo, ang hinigaya ng pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon, PNAA America, and good morning to our colleagues in the Western region. Welcome to part 2 of the presentation of candidates for 2022 PNAA elections. My name is Madeline Yu. I'm your 20th PNAA president, and I am your MC for this afternoon. Last Saturday, the Nominate Committee presented the candidates for Board of Directors, Secretary, Treasurer, and Auditor. The candidates were able to introduce to you who they are and their platform for the office they're running for. We had a question and answer portion of the presentation based on 5 pillars of the PNAA: leadership and vision, membership and membership engagement, policies, ethics and nursing legislation, communication, and financial growth. Today, we will use the same 5 pillars for our questions. Though limited in time, you were able to hear the candidates stand in the questions they were asked. Hopefully, by listening to them, you have a better idea of what kind of leaders they are and where they might bring PNAA to. Our NOMELEC team has been working diligently to present to you the 2022 candidates. So to reintroduce to you the NOMELEC team, we have representation from the 4 regions of the PNAA. Carol, the NOMELEC team. So we have Angelo Bosque from Tennessee, Lourdes Carriaga from Washington, D.C., Emily Danuco from San Francisco, Erlinda Ferrer from Hawaii, Erlinda Gonzalez from Ohio, Irma Labrie Wright from Kansas City, Majubi Solse from New Jersey, and Daphne Verai from Florida. Our co-chair, of course, is the very dynamic Carol Robles, who is also our tech support for today. And our advisor is Dr. Dino Doliente, who is en route somewhere, flying in the air. We miss him today, but I know he supports us 100%. So today we are presenting to you the candidates for Regional Vice President of the Eastern Region, the Western Region, the South Central Region, and the North Central Region. All three regions are contested. The only uncontested area is the North Central Region, or the NCR. The candidate for the NCR RVP is also here today to participate in the question and answer portion. I'm sure the NCR members are eager to hear from their incoming RVP. As mentioned last week, the NOMELEC received 98 questions from members which the NOMELEC team reviewed, vetted, and selected. So today, we are not entertaining questions from the attendees as the questions came from PNAA members, and also because of the time factor. There are 11 candidates today who will be participating in the Q&A portion. So without further ado, let's welcome our 21st PNAA President, Dr. Mary Joy Garcia Dia, to give us the opening remarks. Dr. Dia?
Thank you so much, Ms. Madeline Yu. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the PNAA Executive Board 2020 to 2022, I would like to welcome all our members and family and friends who are witnessing this second round of presentation hosted by our NOMELEC committee. I would like to thank the committee led by our dynamic President Madeline Yu, who planned this panel presentation for the 2022 to 2024 candidates who are running for RVP and President-elect position. Another history will be made as we determine who will be the next officers and board members that will lead PNAA. I would like to encourage everyone to listen carefully as our candidates will be telling their narratives on why they are the best candidate for the position that they are running for. Of course, the real challenge is to deliver the message in under 1 minute, which could be daunting. But this discourse allows our candidates to show their ability to think quickly and react under pressure. I went through that when I was running for president-elect. But now, as your current PNAA president, I would like to share some pearls of wisdom from John Maxwell. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. If you're a leader, the true measure of your success is not getting people to work. It is getting people to work hard, not, but it is getting people to work harder, and that takes commitment. And these positions is not for the faint of heart. What I learned in the past 2 years is that if you want to be a leader, the good news is you can do it. Everyone has the potential, but it is not accomplished overnight. It requires perseverance. The pandemic showed us our ability to work hard together in helping navigate and lead PNAA in moments of crisis. Despite the limitation of not seeing each other face to face, I hope that our term, that we were able to close that gap and keep our communication line open as we all adopted technology. That's just like what we're doing today. And I hope that we were able to maintain that connection, a meaningful connection, despite the challenge of not being able to visit you face to face. I know that this forum will allow you to know the difference on who has the talent, the track record, and perseverance, so you can identify which candidate will resonate with the values, beliefs, and aspirations of PNAA. In listening to our candidates, we will hear their leadership story, their philosophy on how they define their goals in serving PNAA and advocating on your behalf. I wish you all good luck to our candidates. You are all a star and a spark. And I would like to greet everyone. Happy Easter celebration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mary Joy Garcia Dia. Now, the candidates for Regional Vice President and President-elect have submitted a 2-minute video each to introduce themselves to you. So, Carol, let's hear them.
Aloha, my friends and my PNAA families. My name is Dr. Nancy Atmosfera-Walsh, a leader for you and the best experienced and accomplished Regional Vice President, Western Region candidate. I came to you with my lay, leadership, excellence, and innovation. Since joining the Philippine Nurses Association of America nearly a decade ago, I have been an active member by attending the annual Global Summit and international nursing conferences and national conventions. I have chaired and co-chaired regional and local PNAA events, have been a member of the National Executive Board, the PNAA Foundation Board, and 3 times ILVP faculty. I have received multiple honors, and to name a few, Entrepreneur of the Year from zero to multi-million-dollar corporation with over 100 employees and associates, 3 times gubernatorial appointee, and most recently, my legacy and pride is the renaming of the University of Hawaii School of Nursing to the Nancy Atmosfera-Walsh School of Nursing at the University of Hawaii, in short, NAUSON. I dream big, for everything successful came from a dream. As your Regional Vice President, Western Region, I will deliver for you vitality through corporate compliance at all times, viability, membership growth for you, the members are the core, visibility through networking and project involvement locally, nationally, and globally, sustainability through financial growth through creative corporate financing. The power is you, the members, and I humbly ask you to vote for me. Give me your vote and I give you my lay, leadership, excellence, and innovation. I am a leader for you and I lead with my heart. Vote for Dr. Nancy Atmosfera-Walsh, your leader with a heart. Thank you.
Aloha. I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Bob Gahol, a retired colonel in the United States Army, asking for your vote for the PNAA Western Region Vice President position. With humility, I endeavor to continue the great work of our current RVP, Major Marlon Saria, a brother from the military whose intent and dedication will very well serve the interests of PNAA. I have extensive experience leading healthcare organizations, developing numerous evidence-based projects in various facilities. And in the military, I led hundreds of personnel from different backgrounds, generations, and geographical locations. I have spent many years of my professional career working with multinational groups and cultures and have handled the most difficult situations, all with stellar results. PNAA has become a respected professional organization globally, and I want to capitalize on that through my contributions and my genuine intentions. The military taught me so well about selfless service, and I abide by its principles of service to others before self. Since retirement, I have dedicated my time volunteering in various organizations and communities, including my local chapter, the PNAA of Hawaii, PNAA, and the PNAA Foundation. Being the most geographically dispersed region in PNAA, Western Region has unique challenges that need continued strong leadership. I am someone PNAA needs to lead and serve the Western Region. My theme, leadership, experience, commitment, will highlight my plan to improve our situation. As Western Region Vice President, I will give you the results. I will lead with compassion, humility, and integrity. I am a workhorse, not a show horse. Please vote for me, a decision that you will never regret. Mahalo for your support.
Greetings to all. I am Dr. Lorna Imperial. I affirm my commitment to uphold the mission and visions of PNAA and the initiatives of the President. I seek the position of Eastern Region RVP. My mantra is the three T's of leadership: time, talent, transparency. I have the attributes to keep the Eastern Region leading the way with robust memberships and the bastion of great leaders. Unwavering loyalty and tenacious longevity are the hallmarks of my selfless and volunteer services. Time is my best asset. I have a proven track record based on leadership acumen in team building, financial competency, and business projects. I have been involved in executive decision makings. As Ways and Means Committee Chair, my team and I delivered the financial goals needed. I am a member of the PNAA, engaged with core management for the planning of regional, national, and international conferences. As PNAA auditor, I carry out my duties with due diligence. Talent generates efficient management and prioritization. As we move forward to normalcy, as ERRVP, I will promote interagency initiative for expansive support systems for our members as they continue with their emotional struggles with the vestiges of COVID-19. I will advance peer-to-peer mentorship to maximize members' potentials. I will support creative fundraising for chapters' financial viability. I will advocate for timely communication. Transparency is the gold standard in management. Vote for me. I am inspired to serve, committed to deliver.
Dear PNAA members and leaders, I am Dr. Marie Orteliz, immediate past president of PNA New York and candidate for the PNAA Eastern Region Vice President position 2022-2024. My theme is Take the Lead, Advance, and Deliver. Taking the lead is one way to have a voice and get things done. And with this goal, we need to advance ourselves professionally, initiate substantive projects that are coherent with the times, requiring us to make an environmental scan to filter and select a project that will shape policy. Then I use the word deliver to remind us that advancing is only going to be fruitful when we deliver an action that will positively impact the Filipino-American nurses and communities. My nursing experience in the U.S. spans 38 years. In those years, I have been a clinician, an administrator, an educator, and a nurse entrepreneur. Leading will require passion, determination, and strength in character, meeting all the current challenges we face as nurses, and knowing that with the existence of a national crisis, such as the severe nursing shortage, we have to have the internal and external drivers for success. I will devote my time and energies to implement strategies and consolidate the Eastern Region chapters and collaborate with leaders and members of all PNAA regions to not only increase membership, but more so to create a national impact for our work. Your vote for me as the Eastern Region Vice President will be a step towards the accomplishment of this goal. Thank you.
To our PNAA colleagues and friends, it is my absolute pride and joy to serve our organization. Its glorious history, mission, and vision are aligned with my purpose as a person and as a leader. My formative years have instilled in me the importance of learning, leading, and serving. Growing up in a small town with my simple family helped me grounded in the values of humility, empathy, agility, and determination. My active involvement in community organizing and development over the years. My involvement as a PNAA and PNA-NY leader offered me great experiences and wisdom in leading with a shared vision for building a robust and empowered organization. With my deep passion for serving, I'm running as PNAA Eastern Regional Vice President with a goal of achieving synergistic partnerships, innovations, resilience, and excellence. Aspire. I'm committed to leading with grit and a growth mindset to bring the association to its greater heights. As Vice President, I will continue to build synergistic partnerships and collaborations with in and outside PNAA to better serve our community. I will continue to strive for innovations and seek for funding to support our advancements through evidence-based practice and research. I will continue to cultivate a culture of joy, resilience, and mentorship that will help drive membership growth and engagement. I will work closely with government and civic organizations to further our efforts in healthcare advocacy and community service. I'm committed to empowering our members, chapters, and communities with my strong desire to foster our cultures of compassion, accountability, respect, and engagement. Therefore, I'm seeking for your prayers and support to win this election.
To my PNAA family, this is Jonathan Gicomo from Philippine Nurses Association of Metro Houston, and respectfully asking for your vote for PNAA Regional Vice President for 2022 to 2024. I have dedicated my career as a nurse, educator, leader, informaticist, manager, director, risk manager, and entrepreneur, and PNA leader in protecting and advocating for our Filipino American nurses. It is my life mission to serve our PNA family by building opportunity together. I have had the opportunity to serve PNAA in different capacities since I joined in 2004. The first year I came to the United States, Metro Houston welcomed our group of Filipino nurses, and they protected us under their wings, and we became a family. I believe as PNAA RVP for South Central Region, it is vital to hear the voices of our members and not only a few. I believe that by putting PNAA first, we will position PNAA further than we ever have been before. I echo this statement from Jack Welch that a leader's job is to look into the future and see the organization not only as it is, but how it should be. As you cast your vote, you will have the greatest impact on PNAA future trajectory. Finally, as a PNAA leader, the position is not about oneself, rather that it's about our nurses and members to whom we serve, and I do cherish this responsibility. Again, this is Jonathan Gicomo asking for your support this coming PNAA election.
Hello everyone, this is Manny Ramos asking you to please vote for me as your South Central RVP. I would like to have the opportunity to continue my platform to lead, leadership, empowerment, advocacy, and diversity. I currently serve as PNAA Executive Board Member. It's also my 5th year serving as your Director of ILDP, which is PNAA's Leadership Development Program. ILDP has produced over 100 ILDP fellows who have elevated their leadership to the next level. They have served as chapter presidents, PNAA officers, committee and program chairs, and leaders in their community organizations. As director of the PNAA Masterclass series, I have collaborated with Masterclass leaders such as Arnie Florencio in delivering the Masterclass How to Be Conference Rockstars, with Dr. Sigrid Ladores and Dr. Cindy Ayers for the Masterclass Writing for Publication, and Dr. Marie Joyce Ramos, Masterclass leader for Get to Give, Writing for Winning Proposal. I co-host with Mindy Ofiana the PNAA's podcast, Rise Up, Real Issues and Stories of Every One of Us podcast, discussing health issues of vulnerable populations, social determinants of health, racism, and health disparities. I want to continue to increase the capacity of Filipino-American nurses to lead in the workplace and community. Do you remember that historic PNAA National Convention on a cruise? I was the national chair of the planning committee as president of PNA Central Florida, which hosted a very successful, enjoyable, memorable, and financially sound national convention.
Ikaw, siya, ako, isa tayo sa PNAA. Manny Ramos for South Central RVP.
Greetings. My name is Manalita Presta-Dayon, or Bong for the many. I am running for the position of Regional Vice President of the PNAA North Central Region. I have been a member of the PNAA for over 15 years, as a member of various committees and a chairperson of one. As a leader, I was the president of the PNA Indiana and the current two-term president of PNA Northwest Indiana. Community outreach will always have a special niche in my heart. I have organized and joined medical missions locally and in the Philippines since the 1980s. My candidacy is based on my belief of sustaining the spirit, sustaining strength, perseverance, integrity, sustaining resiliency, innovations, and tenacity. I know that all these can be achieved by believing in the spirit of our members, for I can only be a successful leader if I can inspire others to become a leader. Holding on to that spirit, I have to flatten the field for everyone to have the chance to show their talents, express their ideas, and to shine. My PNAA brothers and sisters, with your votes, I will have the chance to educate and to be educated to the ways that point to the progress and improvement of not just one, but an entire group of dedicated nurses that despite of all the adversities and challenges that everyone has gone through in this period in history, we can all stand united and sustain the spirit. Thank you.
Good afternoon! Maayong hapon sa inyo tanan, maimbag ang malimyo amin apo, my fellow members. My name is Jennifer Aying of PNA New England from Massachusetts. I am running to be the next PNAA President-Elect and I humbly ask for your vote. I am the current chair of PNAA COVID-19 Task Force, led various positions with pride and success. Committee chairs, re-elected board member, RVP over the past 22 years. But I am not here to talk about myself. Rather, I am here because of you. My vision of the future of PNAA to uphold the mission and goals with my 5 pillars of leadership philosophy and goals, which are moral courage, uphold integrity and truthfulness, commitment to results, not only by image but impact, active listening, truly listens to members, participation by all, unleash members' talents for common good, mentoring the future, embrace the next generation, the pipeline of PNAA leadership. My goals are membership, PNAA, home for all Filipino-American nurses, reach out the excluded. Communication, grassroots have access to information. Health equity, eliminates health disparity inspired by the Institute of Medicine's Future of Nursing report. Racial equality, advocate for the welfare of Filipino nurses. Planetary health, become a world leader in climate action. All this will be possible with your vote, with your voice, your PNAA, rise to and shine PNAA with Jenny A. Thank you.
My name is Victoria Adina Pike, your President-elect candidate for PNAA 2022 to 2024. As a professional nurse of 42 years, I have held many leadership and management positions and currently the Assistant Director of Nursing of a Department of Public Healthcare Quality Facility. I have brought my facilities accreditation with commendation for 3 cycles and bring to PNAA the skills, knowledge, and competencies as a nurse leader with strengths in organizational development, project management, and cultural competence, having worked in the Philippines, Jordan, and the US. I have been a green belt in Lean Six Sigma, certified in public healthcare quality, gerontology, and pain management. PNAA is strategically positioned to respond to the diversity, equity, and inclusion needs of American Filipinos who are members of our organization. I bring to PNAA a growth of track record of accomplishments. I have increased membership as a regional vice president, fundraised for PNAA and the PNAA Foundation, and I bring 13 years of summer medical mission experience that would magnify Christian love and community service. As President-elect, I will promote a positive and accountable leadership whose governance and service is inclusive and grassroots-oriented. Provide a rich cultural and invaluable professional opportunity guided by veracity and transparency, support a just culture where creativity and innovation thrives, and advance PNAA by creating a constant state of learning reflective of a financially sustainable organization of excellence for the future. Your voice matter. A voice for Vicky Pike is victory for PNAA. Vote for Vicky Pike.
Hello, Philippine Nurses Association of America. My name is Marlon Garzo Saria, currently the Vice President of the Western Region, running for the office of President-elect. Over 6 years ago, I was invited to be the keynote speaker at a graduation ceremony for high school students in a STEM summer session series. The ask was to talk about my success in my nursing career to inspire bright young minds. At the end of my talk, one of the students asked, "What is your why?" I asked back, "What is my what?" To which he responded, "Why are you doing what you do? What is your why?" Whys are very important and at times more important than what's. What can I do? What can I change? What can I bring to the table? What is my why for wanting to be your president-elect? I want to give back to the organization that has had a huge indelible impact not only in my career, but my life. I want to share what I have learned from working with other professional and social civic organizations about governance, relevance, strategic planning, leadership development, advocacy, and impact. A few of our friends who follow the campaign have asked me, why am I not using my credentials in my campaign materials? The degrees and credentials are important, but they are not independent predictors of leadership quality. I only have one promise to you. If elected, I promise you that I will not have the answer to all your questions. I will not be the sage on stage. I will not be the guru. I will not be the master, nor the oracle, nor the wizard. I will not be your commander-in-chief. I will be your facilitator-in-chief. We will facilitate and exploit opportunities and circumstances that we find ourselves in. We will facilitate strategic discussions about issues and challenges that may face our organization and our profession in the future. So I am humbly asking for your support and your vote. Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your candidates for Regional Vice President and President-elect. Now, before we transition to the question and answer program, we have a request from our President, Dr. Mary Joy Garcia Dia. As a leader, we all multitask. She is serving there and supporting our chapter in Sacramento at this time while talking to us also. So you know that we have to accommodate her request. And as leaders, you all know that we have to be flexible, right? So before she logs off and runs to greet the Sacramento folks, let's have a quick picture of the nominate team and the panelists before she runs off and comes back to us. Okay, Carol? quick Zoom picture of the panelists per request of our president. Thank you.
Okay, really quick. Hold on. 1, 2, smile. One more. 1, 2, smile. Thank you. We're good.
Okay. There you go. Thank you, Dr. Mary Joy Garcia Dia. And we wish our local chapter in PNA Sacramento a very successful event, which is happening at the same time right now. So let's transition to the question and answer portion of our event this afternoon. Can we have the rules of engagement, please? Now, it is the same rules of engagement that would apply to the regional vice president candidates and the candidates for president-elect. First, all questions are categorized into 5 as follows: leadership and vision, membership and membership engagement, communication, PNAA policies, ethics and nursing legislative policies, and financial growth. The questions for each category will be asked and moderated by a member of our NOMELEC committee. Number 3, each question will be randomly picked to be answered by each candidate, who will also be randomly chosen. Number 4, each question will be asked twice, and the candidate will be given 1 minute to answer. We do have a timer from one of our NOMELEC team member, and that's Erlinda Ferrer from Hawaii. There will be a designated timer who will provide a 15-second warning. Candidates will be automatically muted after 1 minute of answering the question. At this time, it is advised that the attendees will focus your Zoom view on the speaker view and not the gallery. So you can only focus on the NOMELEC moderator, the candidate who's talking, and the timer. Let me also remind you before we move on that per our NOMELEC timeline, this is campaign season and election will start on May 9 and end on July 12, 2022. So let's proceed. The first pillar that we're going to be asking questions on is moderated by Miss Emily Danuco. Emily?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madeline Yu. Welcome and good afternoon to our candidates for Regional Vice President and President-elect. My name is Emily Danuco from PNA Northern California and a Circle President Representative from Western Region. As mentioned by our moderator, I'll be asking candidates questions on leadership and vision. So let me now remove my Zoom background so you can see my containers containing your name and the questions. So let me now pick the first candidate to answer the first question. So it is Manelita Dayon. Thank you. And let me now pick your question, Ms. Dayon. And Ms. Dayon, your question is, how would you describe your leadership style and how does it fit to the current state of PNAA? Again, your question is, how would you describe your leadership style and how does it fit to the current state of PNAA? You have 1 minute to answer the question and your time begins now. Thank you.
I will mix all types of leadership. One is democratic, that is going to be innovative. And next one will be transformational because I really want people to become leaders. And the next one will be a servant leader because I want to be a model. And so everybody will, because this is a voluntary organization, thus that is going to work for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dayon. The next candidate to answer the next question is Dr. Lorna Imperial. Hello, Dr. Imperial. Let me ask your question. Dr. Imperial, here's your question. How would you make PNAA better prepared for the next national or global health crisis? Again, your question is, how would you make PNAA better prepared for the next national or global health crisis? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now.
First thing I would like to do is assess the situation for the global crisis. And we never have any problem with our sustainability and creating financial competency for our organization. So to be able to to sustain the global health crisis, we always have to be prepared for our disaster planning and sustainability. And for financial competency, financial sustainability, I have a very good project for us to be sustained.
Thank you very much, Dr. Imperial. The next candidate is Dr. Warley Remigio. Hi, Warley. And your question is, do you believe leaders should possess high emotional intelligence, or do you think these can be all developed as one serves the leadership role? Again, your question is, do you believe leaders should possess high emotional intelligence, or do you think these can all be developed as one serves the leadership role? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
It's important for us to have an emotional intelligence because as a leader, we are interacting with various leaders, members, and other members of the community. As a leader representing PNAA, we have to have a sense of humility, a sense of integrity, empathy, and the ability to relate so that we can address issues with proper composure and with utmost professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer, Dr. Remigio. The next candidate is Dr. Jonathan Giacomo. Hi, Jonathan. And your question is, here's your question, Jonathan. As a PNAA leader, what benchmark or measuring criteria would you use to ensure that PNAA is achieving its mission, goals, and objectives? Again, your question is, as a PNAA leader, what benchmark or measuring criteria would you use to ensure that PNAA is achieving its mission, goals, and objectives? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. And normally, as an organization, we look at several pillars depending on our executive board decision, what we're going to focus on. But of course, one is people for our membership, right? For the growth of our membership, and also the sustainability of membership. Second, financial aspect. Of course, we wanted to make sure that we, of course, there's no mission if we don't have money, right? We cannot perform as an organization if we don't have that financial sustainability. Third is how do we look into our succession, our leadership, the next leader, similar to what we're doing now, which is really great. And then fourth is really on how we do projects for our community. So I'm thinking of those 4 pillars on how we can impact PNAA.
Thank you for your answer, Dr. Giacomo. The next candidate is Dr. Nancy Atmosfera Walsh. Hi, Dr. Walsh. And your question would be, here's your question, Dr. Walsh. What do you think is the most challenging issue in PNAA, and how would you handle it? Again, your question is, what do you think is the most challenging issue in PNAA, and how would you handle it? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
The most challenging issue is about increasing our membership. Membership is the core of our organization. With membership, you can develop the 5 pillars. You can do the leadership, membership growth, financial growth, and communication transparency. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Dr. Walsh. And the next candidate is Dr. Marie Ortaliz. And let me pick your question, Dr. Ortaliz.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And your question is, how would you promote diversity and inclusivity at different levels of PNAA leadership? Again, your question is, how would you promote diversity and inclusivity at different levels of PNAA leadership? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a big question. It's not an easy question to answer. It's a huge one. But the most important thing to know is that when leaders are in unison and they know that they are performing according to the mission and vision of the organization, then it doesn't become that complex. And I believe in the 32nd President of the United States when he said, the only way we can succeed tomorrow is we don't doubt ourselves today. And so I don't doubt that this item on inclusivity and accepting diversity is not a difficult one, because we can all accomplish what we can accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ortaliz, for your answer. The next candidate will be Manny Ramos.
Hi, Emily.
Hello, Manny.
Hi.
And your question is, what solid programs have you developed, led, implemented with productive results in your own chapter that could be replicated in your region if you become its regional vice president? Again, your question is, what solid programs have you developed, led, and implemented with productive results in your own chapter that could be replicated in your region if you become its regional vice president? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for the question. So for my chapter, we have held these leadership retreats every single year. And that is an opportunity to engage the members and be current with the issues that we have in our chapter, as well as in the region and in the PNAA. So this has also been a venue for our chapter members to showcase their talent, develop them, and of course, the most important thing is to engage them. So we give them, projects and responsibilities in coming up with these projects. So I hope to replicate that in the region and do the same thing to increase member engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answer, Manny. And the last candidate to answer the last question is Bob Gahol. And Bob, the last question is, if you had to change PNAA, what would you change, if any, and why? Again, your question is, if you have to change PNAA, what would you change, if any, and why?
Hello,
You have 1
everybody.
minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you for that question. PNAA actually has come a long way, and I really applaud the hard work and the dedication and the innovative thinking of our PNAA leaders especially our current president, Mary Joy Garcia-Dia, who has done a tremendous job leading our organization during the most challenging times. We are now rubbing elbows with the premier nursing organizations in the United States and globally, and they are seeking our input on matters that involve diversity, inclusion, and equity. As a regional vice president, I think there's still some things that we can change. And look at our numbers. There are 150,000 Filipino nurses in the United States, but our organization only has 4,000 members. So we need to look into the recruitment and retention strategy. And that's a big thing because the membership is the heart of our organization. As a leader, I have several tools that we could use.
Thank you, Bob, for your answer. And back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, NOMELEC moderator Emily Danuco, and how wonderful it is. I am so happy and proud of our candidates. They all excel in their answers, and you could tell these are outstanding leaders. So moving on, let me call on Ms. Lourdes Carriaga to take the second pillar for membership and membership engagement. Lourdes?
So thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Lourdes Carriaga from PNA Metro DC, and I'm tasked and very much excited to ask 8 questions on membership and membership engagement category. It is the foundational people pillar. Members make change possible. I wish all the candidates good luck, and I have 2 containers, one for the candidates and one for the set of questions. To ask the first candidate, first one is Dr. Nancy Atmosfera Walsh. Hi, Dr. Walsh.
Good morning, Lourdes. How are you?
Good, thank you. The question is, nursing conferences attracts members and engages them to stay. How have you promoted nursing conferences in your chapter, not only to attract members, but to continuously update the nursing profession? May I repeat, nursing conferences attracts members and engages them to stay. How have you promoted conferences in your chapter, not only to attract members, but to continuously update the nursing profession? You have 1 minute to answer the question, and the time starts right now. Thank you.
To use the conferences to promote a membership to come, we have been doing that from the very beginning when I was involved in the nursing profession by creating conferences. And I get the different people that have leadership and presentation skills to use them also as speakers, because you can not only use the very high skilled people, but you have to also motivate the lower nurses that are beginning so that they can be engaged. They can say that, hey, I can be there too, you know. And I would like to be one time a keynote speaker, but you have to really motivate them to start from the bottom by being bringing them even just. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh. The next candidate is Dr. Jonathan Giacomo. Dr. Giacomo, I have your question, please. What membership incentives have you implemented in your chapter that is worth implementing in your region? What membership incentives have you implemented in your chapter that is worth implementing in your region? You have 1 minute to answer the question, and the time starts right now.
I think in our chapter and also in PNAA, when I was still a board member and also a website chair, we have implemented several strategies. One is accessing resources. ability for our member to have quick access to our website, to an app that they can easily log into and then join and then be informed of our activities. Second is promoting membership discounts. Let's say when we are attending conference or a training, we provide some discounted rate. If you wanted to be a member and then at the same time attend our lead conference, then we provide them also discounted rate on that. Thirdly, we also try to make sure that when we plan for a community activity, we bring along a friend who are also nurses and then try to engage them in our activity in order for us to increase our.
Thank you, Dr. Giacomo. The next candidate is Manelita Dayon. Hi, Bong, you ready? I have your question. What will you do as Regional Vice President to address the emotional distress due to COVID-19 of nurses in your region? What will you do as Regional Vice President to address the emotional distress due to the COVID-19 of nurses in your region? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now.
Thank you. You know what? Being a friend first is the best way to get them to talk to you. When you start that communication, you will be able to see or to feel how they feel. And so once that happens, you can always ease up any stress. And you know what? We have that in our chapter. We talk, we just open up to everything, and then we pray. So that's what we've been doing. Be a friend, be open for anything, and then just, react the natural way. Thank you.
Thank you, Bong. The next candidate is Dr. Lorna Imperial. Hi, Lorna, you want to unmute yourself?
Should.
Great. I have your question. Are you in favor of the 50-mile wages restriction in chapter formation? Why or why not? The question is, are you in favor of the 50-mile wages restriction in chapter formation? Why or why not? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now. Thank you.
I am not in favor of having a 50-mile radius because there are more growth of nurses within the area that are less than 50 miles away. So I really would like to make that 50-mile radius less than 50-mile radius. So we are going to be able to create and form more chapters or sub-chapters and increase our membership and continue the mission and vision of upholding the image of the Filipino nurses in the United States and globally.
Thank you, Dr. Imperial. Looks like you still have 15 seconds.
And the reason why I'm not in favor, because as I said, we could interact with the different nurses and within the area as of now.
Thank you. Thank you, Erlinda. I'm calling in for the next candidate. It's Manny Ramos.
Hi, Lourdes.
Hi, Manny. I have your question. Just show that I picked it up from the container. Would you close a chapter that is always below the required 30 members requirement? If yes, please explain. If not, how would you assist the chapter personally in meeting this requirement? Let me repeat, please. Would you close a chapter that is always below the required 30-member requirement? If yes, please explain. If not, how would you assist the chapter personally in meeting this requirement? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lourdes, for that question. That is a very important question, and it is a policy and procedure that we have at PNAA, that there needs to be a minimum of 30 members in a chapter for it to continue. Should that be an issue for a chapter, then as a leader, we need to empower them and advocate for them. So to find out what is going on, obviously there must be issues, and for us to intervene, we need to first assess, and that is the only way that we could help them. Sometimes, we think of numbers, but more importantly is the output, right? What is the outcome? So what is the quality? What's going on? So it's not only about numbers. Sometimes we need to find out how we can help them. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. I have the next candidate. It's Dr. Warley Remigio.
Thank you, Lourdes.
Hi, Warley. I have your question. Are you in favor of student membership in PNAA? Why or why not? So the question is, are you in favor of student membership in PNAA, and why or why not? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now. Thank you.
My answer to this question goes along with my theme as a leader. I always aspire to empower. And I think for us to be a sustainable organization, we need to make sure that we have opportunities for mentorship. So providing these opportunities to students, leadership development, having some conversation with them on how we can continue to grow is key for us to prosper as an organization. So I am in favor. I support that. There is a category for students, and look what other organizations are doing. So if you benchmark, everybody's doing it. So why not for PNAA? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Remigio. I have 2 more left in my candidates box. And the next candidate is Bob Gahol. Hi, Bob. You ready?
Yes.
Aloha. Sorry, I'm the one getting nervous here, and I'm not the one even answering the question. So the question is, membership recruitment and retention is always a challenge for a lot of chapters and regions. What have you done in your own chapter that you could implement in your region should you win as its RVP? Again, the question is, membership recruitment and retention is always a challenge for a lot of chapters and regions. What have you done in your own chapter that you could implement in your region should you win as its RVP? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I mentioned earlier, membership is the heart of our organization. And at PNA Hawaii, where I serve as a vice president most recently, Violet, our president, asked me to lead the organization with the strategic planning on her top 3 priorities, which is one is membership. And I look across the organization on what best practices we have. We have a lot of chapters that exceeded the number of membership, like in Central California, San Diego. So I look at what they're doing. In PNA Hawaii, we implemented several initiatives, such as sponsoring new members to come in. And we actually have some volunteers that actually paid for the initial fee. And we talked to them about the value of being a member of the organization. It's not just from the professional development standpoint, but also on community outreach, because we could do so much, but we really need the members to be involved.
Thank you, Bob. So the last but not the least, last candidate in the box is Dr. Marie Ortiz.
Hi.
Dr. Ortiz, I have the last question for you.
Thank you.
Nurses are generous at heart. We care and we share. What community outreach have you participated in or led? And can you quantify the number of people served or hours dedicated to community service? Again, may I repeat? Nurses are generous at heart. We care and we share. What community outreach have you participated in or led? And can you quantify the number of people served or hours dedicated to community service? You have 1 minute to answer the question.
Thank you for that question. Thank you. When I was president of the Philippine Nurses Association, there were two aspects there. One was pre-COVID and the second was COVID time. The pre-COVID era was easier because we did go for community outreach. We did healthcare, especially when we went to New York in Baruch College, where we were actually advocating healthcare insurance for for the patients who are in the senior category. And that was easy. We also went to Queens, in the Queens area to participate with other organizations where we collaborated with. So that was really fun because it was pre-COVID. During COVID, that was difficult. My second year of presidency was COVID. So what I did was to resource for face shields, and I was able to reach out to the U.S. Army, retired and active, and they sent me face shields, and my husband and I delivered them from nursing home to nursing home, door to door, and that was a challenge, but I enjoyed doing it because that was promoting excellence in our practice.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Madam Chair, I've completed the 8 questions for membership and membership engagement. I turn it over to you, please.
Thank you, Ms. Lourdes Cariaga. Are you jotting down your favorites now? You're learning to know them better? I am, and I am tallying them, and they are all excellent. So moving on, let me call on Ms. Erlinda Gonzalez to talk about policy, ethics, nursing policies, and legislations. Erlinda?
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm Erlinda Gonzalez from Ohio, and today I'm tasked to ask questions on ethics, nursing policies, and legislations. The first candidate to be asked a question is Manny Ramos.
Hi, Erlinda.
Hello, Manny. And my question is, what specific nursing legislation would you support, promote that would be helpful to PNAA? Let me repeat. What specific nursing legislation would you support, promote that would be helpful to PNAA? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
Thank you, Erlinda. So part of my platform is advocacy. So we need to advocate for our members. One of the legislative priorities of the American Nurses Association is safe staffing. There are states, there are 7 states right now that have legislated that approach for safe staffing, like Oregon, Texas, Illinois, Connecticut, Ohio, Washington, and Nevada. We need to push for the same for the other states. Our nurses are precious. We've seen the effect of COVID to our nurses. So safe staffing is very, very important. That's how we care for our members. That's how we advocate for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. The next candidate is Pablito Gahol. Hello, Bob. My question to you is there racism in nursing? What have you done personally to prevent racism in nursing? Let me repeat that, please. Is there racism in nursing? What have you done personally to prevent racism in nursing? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
It is unfortunate to say that racism still exists in nursing. It's not just in nursing, but nationally and globally. And it's a health crisis that impacts our morale, spiritual and physical health. And what I've done is I'm a big advocate of anti-racism. I speak up. I also write letters to our legislators about stopping the racism. And to be honest with you, it's not just racism. I also advocate for the rights of the LGBTQ and other minorities, and also people should feel safe living in their environment, and not be uh, assaulted because of their color and their beliefs. So yes, we gotta work together in stopping this racism as an organization. We need to to advocate for our members as well as the other minority organizations. So let's fight this battle together.
Just so you know, I'm also getting from a bowl. The next candidate is Dr. Nancy Atmosfera Walsh. And my question is, have you participated in any community or organizational event to prevent hatred and attacks against Asians? What do you propose needs to be done? Let me repeat that question, please. Have you participated in any community or organizational event to prevent hatred and attacks against Asians? What do you propose needs to be done? Your 1 minute starts now. Thank you.
Erlinda, I could not understand well the question. Can you repeat it and speak louder, please?
Sorry. Have you participated? Is it better? Can you hear me better?
Yes. You said, have you participated in what?
In any community or organizational event to prevent hatred and attacks against Asians? What do you propose needs to be done? Let me repeat it. Have you participated in any community or organizational event to prevent hatred and attacks against Asians? What do you propose needs to be done? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
Yes, I have participated in many community organization and event. And the way that we have done is to be a role model and to try to talk to people in their when they have questions, and to encourage them to be engaged, to ensure that they are all heard, and whatever they have that they are against somebody, we try to mentor them. We try to show them that we can be together and create an organization that is thriving, because unity is truly a very important in creating an organization to be successful one.
Thank you. The next candidate is Manalita Dayan. My question to you, Bong, is, would you be in favor of regional voters only voting for their own RVP rather than open to all members to vote nationally? Why or why not? Let me read it again. Would you be in favor of regional voters only voting for their own RVP rather than open to all members to vote nationally? Why or why not? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
I believe that every member has the right to speak up. I believe that we all need to hear and listen to everyone. Whatever our policy and procedure says, whatever our bylaws says, we have to follow it. Whatever that says, we follow it. If we need to change it, then it needs to be reviewed. But I do believe that every member of this organization has the right to choose who they want to be, because they're not just going to deal with their own RVPs. They are going to deal with everybody if we want this community organization to be solid. Thank you.
Thank you, Bong. The next candidate is Dr. Jonathan Giacomo. And my question is, what is the best way to resolve conflicts at organizations like the PNAA? How would you operationalize it? Let me repeat the question. What is the best way to resolve conflicts at organizations like the PNAA? How would you operationalize it? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
The good thing about us in an organization is how passionate we are as members and also as leaders. And based on that passion, sometimes we try to put on as many emotion as we wanted in a certain topic. But normally, what I normally do is to look into the four-way test. I always look into that. Is it the truth? Is it something that is fair to all concerned, or will it build goodwill and friendship, and will it be beneficial to all concerned, right? So the four-way test provide us some structure and some way for us to look into all the angles of all these discussions. And then we need to follow a rule of engagement every time that we meet so that at least everybody's on the same goal. And our main goal is always for the betterment and the goodwill of PNAA. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. The next candidate is Dr. Warley Remigio. And my question is, what programs would you help support in the Philippines to help advance our nursing colleagues in the Philippines? Let me repeat that question. What programs would you help support in the Philippines to help advance our nursing colleagues in the Philippines? You have 1 minute to answer and it starts now. Thank you.
At this day and age, we can be very innovative and create programs to expand what we're doing here for PNAA members to our colleagues back home. And one of the great examples is the Balikturo program. And we just had the International Balikturo, and I'm so proud as a co-lead of this along with the other leaders in the organization. And we've reached about 1,000 members. So I think leveraging the platform, sharing best practices, sharing innovations, will help advance nursing education and nursing practice back home. The other thing is providing scholarship programs, because I know there's power in scholarship. And I know that there are nursing students who are underprivileged, but not given the opportunity to pursue their dreams. So I'm hoping to expand that and be able to support that program moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Warley. The next candidate is Dr. Marie Orcolis. The question is, recently, it was reported that a nurse was convicted criminally after giving a wrong medication to a patient. What is your stand on healthcare reporting of medical, nursing errors, and criminalizing the mistakes? Let me repeat that. Recently, it was reported that a nurse was convicted criminally after giving a wrong medication to a patient. What is your stand on healthcare reporting of medical, nursing errors, and criminalizing the mistakes? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Yes, it's very relevant because it's just a recent situation. It's very sad and unfortunate that that happened to the nurse. But if only she followed the standard of nursing practice, the code of ethics, and all the other rules that govern our nursing practice, that should not have happened. In the same token, administration has to have a meeting with all administrators and managers and discuss this in order to really analyze what's ethical, what's legal, and help the nurse as well. It is not easy to always be on the right path and to have clarity in mind. We are subject to mistakes, and we need to pray every day that we don't make errors, especially now with the severe nursing shortage. I'm not going to judge the nurse because I'm not in court right now, but I just want to really emphasize the standard of nursing practice. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ortalis. I think that's all the candidates that I have.
Has everybody been asked? Did we miss anybody in this round or no? Carol?
Hi, Mads. Yes.
Hi. Did we ask everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Erlinda Gonzalez. Again, the last question befalls on all of us, and I'm sure you've all heard it. The nurse who gave the wrong medication in Vanderbilt University Hospital has been indicted and convicted. So it has been criminalized, and there's many organizations that are stating their position statement on that. So it is a conversation that still needs to happen. ANA has stated its position. We as PNAA should also state ours. And again, it involves all of us. So what happens now to honest reporting, discussion of root cause analysis, and things like that. So a lot has to happen and a lot of discussion to also protect our members. So what happens if it's criminalized now? Would people be very honest in still reporting? So things that we have to keep in mind. So thank you very much, Linda Gonzalez, for moderating the last pillar. We move on now to Mr. Angelo Bosque to talk about communications. Angelo?
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. Hello, PNAA. Good afternoon from Tennessee. Just like everybody from NOMLEC, I also have some bowl here right in front of me. Questions and the names of the right person for the job. And the first lucky person to be asked is Colonel Bob Gahol. Aloha, Colonel Bob. Are you ready?
Aloha.
And
Yes.
here is your question. What is the best way to resolve conflict at organizations like ours, the PNAA? How did you resolve your latest conflict? I repeat, what is the best way to resolve conflict at organizations like ours, the PNAA? And how did you resolve your latest conflict? You have 1 minute to answer and your time starts now.
Thank you for that question, Angelo. There's actually no healthcare organization on earth that is free from conflict. And we should not avoid conflict. We need to deal with this head on. And the best way to do that is we need to be more professional with each other. We need to abide by respecting each other, respecting the differences. Everyone is different, so you gotta listen to their perspectives, and at the same time, allow that person to speak while you're listening. Active listening is a good way to do that. And how I resolved a conflict that I've encountered recently was seek clarification, because there's some things that I was not aware of that could be a bias on my part. So I talked to the individual and asked to clarify, and I'm glad that I did.
Thank you so much, Colonel Bob, for your answer. And the next candidate is Manny Ramos.
Hi, Angelo.
Hello, Manong Manny. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And here's your question. Learning from our experience with COVID-19 pandemic, the COVID task force has been in place for 2 years. In the event of another national or global disaster of health or healthcare crisis, how would you prepare and communicate your plans to PNAA members? I repeat, learning from our experience with COVID-19 pandemic, the COVID task force has been in place for 2 years. In the event of another national or global disaster or healthcare crisis, how would you prepare and communicate your plans to PNAA members? You have 1 minute to answer and it starts now.
Ang hirap ng question, Angelo, but let me answer that. Okay. So COVID, like they say, history is our best teacher. So we need to learn from what happened from COVID. If anything at all, COVID has exposed our vulnerabilities. We have known that although we're only 4% of the nursing workforce in the US of A, 30% of those who died from COVID are Filipinos. So leadership, we already know we are vulnerable. So let's make sure that we advocate for our Filipino nurses. We need to make sure that they are protected and safe in the work that they do. And that is part of what PNAA should do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manny Ramos. And our next candidate is Dr. Jonathan Giacomo. Hello, Dr. Giacomo, are you ready? And here is your question. What would your approach be in unifying the members of the executive board? I repeat, what would your approach be in unifying the members of the executive board? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
So there are several things that come to mind in terms of unity, and then of course our executive board. Just like Bob was saying, that we need to celebrate our differences, right? Each of us have several considerations in mind, and then several affiliation also. So we need to celebrate that. But before we always go into that, we need to make sure that we have a strategic planning. Everybody needs to know each other in a way that we can have that rules of engagement every time that we discuss something. If we have an executive board meeting, we need to have something to follow. How do we say things in order for us to passionately put that on the table? And then do the listening, and then do the listening and also believing on what they are trying to provide us. And then as a group, as a leader.
Thank you so much, Dr. Giacomo, for that answer. And the next candidate is Manilita Dayon. Lottie Bong, are you ready?
Yes.
And here's your question. What communication strategies would you adopt to collaborate better with other nursing organizations nationally or globally? I repeat, what communication strategies would you adopt to collaborate better with other nursing organizations nationally or globally, such as ANA and SEMNA, ICN, PNA Philippines, CGFNS, Board of Nursing, etc.? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
Wow, that's a lot of organizations. But you know what? You have to know the core of each organization to be able to know how to communicate with them. You have to know what their specialty. You have to know the ins and outs of any organization, so you will be able to relate to them. The best way to do that is to prepare. There's no strategy. Everything has to come from you discovering what's in that organization, what's going on, to be able to communicate. You have to listen to them so that they will listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Ate Bong. And for the next candidate, Dr. Wally Remigio. Hello, Dr. Remigio, are you ready?
Hi, Angelo. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Here's your question. It is said leaders cannot communicate enough. How would you promote communication down or up and ensure that members are well aware of issues? I repeat, it is said leaders cannot communicate enough. How would you promote communication down or up and ensure that members are well aware of issues? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
I do value communication because to me, it is the oxygen of the organization. So we want to make sure that we always tend to overly communicate. And there's a lot of things to do that. Number one is making sure that you are following different various platforms. It could be by email, it could be a phone call, it could be a formal meeting. We need to reinforce our purpose, our intention to our members and to our teammates. So I think it's important for us to have transparency and open communication and try to explore different platforms to be able to reinforce our communication to all the members. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Dr. Mejio. And we are down to 3. And the next is Dr. Lorna Imperial. Hello,
Hello,
Lorna. Good
Angela.
afternoon. Are you ready?
How are you? Yes.
And here's your question. As an advocate for PNAA, what message would you give to the public and the nursing community that PNA is a professional organization that is different from other organizations? Let me repeat. As an advocate for PNAA, what message would you give to the public and the nursing community that PNAA is a professional organization that is different from other organizations? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
I am a very active listener who looks for commonality, not differences in conversation. Therefore, identifying this mutually agreeable message to the public, I will pass forward. First, I will really look at again the goals and the visions of the PNAA, and then the initiatives of the president. This year, the Spark administration is really sparking, and I would continue to relate to the public what makes us different from the other organization, because we spark. We are the stories of people with different achievements. So I am very, very proud of being a member of the PNAA, contributed to the legacy building campaign, and now it's being up there located at the New Jersey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imperial. And down to the two, we have Dr. Atmospera Welch, Nancy Atmospera Welch. Aloha, Dr. Welch. Are you ready?
Hi, Angelo. Good morning. Aloha. I hope I am ready.
And here's your question. How would you promote respectful conversation or communication within your region and in the executive board to model respectful behavior? Let me repeat. How would you promote respectful conversation or communication within your region and in the executive board to model respectful behavior? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
Number one, I have to start with myself to be a role model. And then number two, I have to communicate openly and transparently. And depending on the problem, I have to go on one-on-one if I have a problem with someone. And if there's a problem within the committee, I have to look at the executive board and do a communication and say that I have a problem and I would like to express it to you, and I need help because I do not know how to resolve this because it involves all of us. So it starts with myself and then go to the person and then go to the whole executive board. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer, Dr. Welch. And we have Dr. Marie Ortales. Hello, Dr. Ortales, are you ready?
Hello, Angelo. Yes, I'm ready.
And here's your question. It is a fact that not all nurses were vaccinated with anti-COVID-19 vaccines. How would you communicate the importance of vaccination to anti-vaxxers? And do you have an idea of what percentage of nurses were vaccinated in your region? Let me repeat. It is a fact that not all nurses were vaccinated with anti-COVID-19 vaccine. How would you communicate the importance of vaccination to anti-vaxxers? And do you have an idea of what percentage of nurses were vaccinated in your region? You have 1 minute to answer, and starts now.
Thank you for your question. Yes, since one of the biggest role that a nurse has is advocacy. So advocacy is so important, especially in the pandemic. And I have heard that there are so many nurses, I don't know the percentage, that still disseminate disinformation regarding vaccine. So at one point, I was a speaker at the Philippine consulate, and I had the opportunity to discuss it, and I just gave an information stating that we worry about people who don't believe in vaccines, worry about side effects. So I emphasized, that there are medications that people take that have side effects. And if they look at every medication they have, that medication probably has 2 pages of side effects. But it's actually more of like communicating properly and also listening to them, since the biggest vision that we have as an organization is being responsive to our constituents. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Dr. Ortales. And that's it Madam Chair, back to you.
Thank you very much, Angelo. And again, another round of applause to all the candidates in answering our questions regarding communication. We did make a tiny error in missing somebody from the previous pillar. I apologize for missing Miss Lorna, Dr. Lorna Imperial, and if Miss Erlinda Gonzalez, if you can unmute yourself and ask the last question on policy, ethics, and legislations for Dr. Imperial, we would like to give everybody a chance to answer one question from each pillar. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize for screwing this up. There has to be one person that would do that, and it will be me today. But I'm sorry, Dr. Imperial. It wasn't intended. However, this is my question. If elected as regional vice president, how would you keep your region's members stay informed and involved in nursing current legislations? Let me repeat that, please. If elected as regional vice president, how would you keep your region's members stay informed and involved in nursing current legislations? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
First, I would like to mention that my leadership style is transformational leadership. And as I said, I path forward for everything. I live in Washington, D.C. area, the center of legislative committees. So I would be able to communicate clearly our projects, initiatives, and everything else about about the legislative, the ethics, and everything else. Furthermore, I have participated in many activities in relation to the Asian American organizations within the area and also in North America. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Imperial and Ms. Gonzalez. Thank you. So moving on the financial growth pillar, let me call on Ms. Daphne Viray.
Hi, good afternoon, PNAA. My name is Daphne Viray, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Presently, I'm the president of PNA of Northeast Florida and the South Central Regional COPPER, Circle of Presence Regional Representative. I am tasked to ask questions regarding the pillar of financial growth, which is very important to sustain our organization. So I have my containers for the candidates, and here's my questions, okay? So let me call on the first candidate, Dr. Warley Remigio. And my question for Warley is, as the next RVP, provide one important financial initiative you will deliver for the advancement of your region. Let me repeat, as the next RVP, provide one important financial initiative you will deliver for the advancement of your region. You have 1 minute to answer the question, and your time starts right now. Thank you.
So one of the things that I would like to replicate is exploring opportunities for grants. We were able to secure a lot of grants in PNA New York. And I think this is something that we can expand because a lot of our initiatives are aligned anyway. One perfect example is the tuberculosis grant. And this has impact in a lot of our Filipino communities here in New York. Other things are education programs. There are also grants for resiliency workshops that can benefit all our members, not only within the chapter, but also within the region. So I think that's something that we can leverage. We can also leverage other avenues like generating membership drives because membership is something that generates revenue and can be transformable into benefits for our members. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Remigio. Next candidate, Manilita Dayan. And Manilita, your question is, as the next RVP, do you think its region should have a separate bank account for recording and auditing purposes of income from regional conferences and expenses like souvenir ads, and why? Let me repeat, as the next RVP, do you think its region should have a separate bank account for recording and auditing purposes of income from regional conferences and expenses like souvenir ads, and why? You have 1 minute to answer the question and your time begins right now.
Definitely. I'm chairing or chapter chairman of the NCR right now. It is very important that you have a separate account so you will not mix what is one over the other, because you will have other accounts for your own chapter and other accounts for the NCR. It is very important because accounting, you have everything, auditing will happen, and it will be clear and very transparent if you have a separate account for your regional conferences. Thank you.
Thank you, Bong. And the next candidate, Dr. Nancy Atmosfera Walsh.
Hello, Daphne.
Hello. Dr. Walsh, this is your question. The PNAA-PNAAF Legacy Headquarters showcases the history of PNAA and its important memorabilia. It's the realization of many nurses' dreams. How would you make the legacy building profitable and not just incur monthly condo fees? Let me repeat that question. The PNAA-PNAAF Legacy Headquarters showcases the history of PNAA and its important memorabilia. It's the realization of many nurses' dreams. How would you make the legacy building profitable and not just incur monthly condo fees? You have 1 minute to answer and your time begins right now.
The legacy building is actually all our legacy. It is our job to ensure that that building is sustainable and financially having revenue. The foundation is the fundraising arm of the PNAA, and we should use it in so many ways. There are many people with so much money that would like to give, but there are creative and innovative ways on how to do fundraising in different levels. It's not only through our members. Our members became members not to be fundraise reasons, but we have to make sure that we include the business people, the individual people, and also then our members, those who are want to do it. But definitely we have to really utilize the foundation as the fundraising arm. And because with that, we can make money and also to have a budget. Every project should have a budget, a dashboard to say that this is what we want. This is, and are we reaching it? We should really look at that every time.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh. And on the next candidate, Dr. Lorna Imperial.
Hello, Daphne.
Hello. And here's your question, Dr. Imperial. Okay, what financial program is successful in your chapter that you could implement in the region if you became its RVP? Let me repeat, what financial program is successful in your chapter that you would implement in your region if you became the next RVP? You have 1 minute to answer this question and your time begins right now. Thank you.
As a current PNA MDC Board of Director, we have increased our membership very quick from the time that Carol Robles took presidency in May. And we have now almost more than 200 membership. And I would like to continue that role model, that model that we are utilizing right now in our chapter. So to continue increasing our membership on the regional level and of course to the national level. That's what I want to see.
Thank you, Dr. Imperial. All right, and we have the next candidate, Dr. Jonathan Giacomo.
Hi, Daphne.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, Jonathan, here's your question. Okay. Do you approve of paid staff for PNAA? What position should be paid and why? Let me repeat. Do you approve of a paid staff for PNAA? What position should be paid and why? You have 1 minute to answer and your time begins right now. Thank you.
That's really a great question, Daphne. Our impetus to the idea of a paid staff is looking at consistency in our ways and also consistency in delivering our delivery of communication and also delivery of services to our members. From the start, we started like a small organization. Now we are a professional organization with more than 4,000 or 5,000 members. And during several years ago, we're like 10,000 members. And how can we reach them without a consistent communication, a consistent way of delivering those services? One, we talk about the executive board, the executive director, and also some staff that can be staff in our legacy building to do our accounting, secretary work, etc. So it's really important for us to be consistent in delivering these services to our members.
Thank you, Dr. Giacomo. Okay, and our next candidate, Manny Ramos.
Naimbag nga daw kada kayo, Daphne.
Okay, adding ko. Okay, itong question mo. All right. As the next RVP, how would you help chapters in your region to raise money such as 5K and why? Let me repeat. As the next RVP, how would you help chapters in your region to raise money, for example, 5K, and why?
I'm so honored and also lucky that I am a PNAA board member. And even though, even as a chapter president, past chapter president though, we've had good practices. And one of that is strategic planning. So for strategic planning, we need to identify our strategic priorities. Only in that way can we really identify the priorities and the ways that we could be financially responsible. So for a 5K fundraising, we can look into ways that we could generate money, different strategies. We need to involve our officers and members to get some ideas. Advocacy, empowerment. We are a wealth of talent. Let us get their ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. And we are on our last two candidates right here. And thank you for staying with us and being attentive. And so here goes. Dr. Marie Ortiz.
Thank you. Hi, Daphne.
Okay, Dr. Ortiz, here's your question.
Okay.
As the next RVP, how would you help chapters in your region who are struggling financially due to a lack of membership? Let me repeat. As the next RVP, how would you help chapters in your region who are struggling financially due to lack of membership? You have 1 minute to answer the question and your time begins right now.
Thank you for that question. I will call a meeting. I'll have a meeting with the presidents of the chapters who's struggling with membership. And the meeting is going to be financially focused, like what worked and what did not work the year before. I usually like to gather data when it comes to funding, because having the data, then I'll have the resources and the tools to plan. It's easy to say, let's have a strategic planning meeting, but having a strategic planning is just going to the drawing board and writing what items you need to plan, but really knowing the culture of the chapter and what made it a go and what caused a dwindling number of membership is really going to help in order to come up with a very innovative strategic plan and raise funds. And there are many ways to raise funds as long as I can meet with them and we'll have a good conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Okay, we are down to the last one. I can't remember who was not called yet, but oh, Pablito Babgahol. And you got the last question, Bob.
Hey, Daphne.
Hello. All right. Your question is, how would you raise money for your chapter's region without your members feeling fatigued with fundraising activities? Again, how would you raise your money for your chapters or region without your members feeling fatigued with fundraising activities? You got 1 minute to answer this question and your time begins right now. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. You know, what I would do is I would guide and assist our chapters with strategies to reach out to businesses and leadership within the community. You know, we should not always be tapping our members for money for this fundraising activities, because it creates fundraising fatigue and it affects the morale of our membership. So good way is, you know, tapping into other sources in the community. You know, we're always out there. They know what we do, and, you know, we're involved in the community. So maintaining a personal relationship outside of the times when you know, we need those businesses, I think it's paramount to the success of the fundraising efforts. So, you know, just making a personalized phone call just to be in touch with, you know, some key leaders in the community, I think it goes a long way. So that's one of the things that we can do to raise funds. You know, do it in a subtle way, if I may say so. I've got to do it strategically and look at the core people.
Thank you, Bob, for your answer. And I'm done, Madam Chair, and back to you. Thank you.
There you have it. Thank you, Ms. Daphne Viray. And now you've heard from all your candidates for Regional Vice President. We will take a 10-minute break. Please be back by 3:05. That's a little more than 10 minutes, because I know some of you might not have lunch yet. We will be back at 3:05. Thank you very much. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. Let us now meet our candidates for President-elect. Hopefully, you now have learned and knew your candidates better from the RVP group of candidates. So, without further ado, may I remind you that after this last portion, we can have a Zoom picture of all the attendees. So Carol will send out panelist invite to all of you. If you want to join the pictures for everybody, you need to accept the panelist invite in your email. Same rules of engagement apply. So again, may I call on Miss Emily Danuco to ask questions to moderate the leadership and vision portion of our question. Emily?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Madeline Yu. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for, sorry, my phone is ringing. I hope you can just ignore that. I am asking questions to our President-elect candidates on leadership and vision. So may I now pick the first candidate? It is for Dr. Jennifer Aying.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Dr. Aying.
Hi. Good
And your
afternoon.
question will be, let me read it to you. Dr. Aying, what would you do differently and innovatively as a leader that would bring PNAA to greater heights and would be beneficial to local chapters? Again, your question, what would you do differently and innovatively as a leader that would bring PNAA to greater heights and would be beneficial to local chapters? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
Thank you. So my the innovation that I would like to bring into the PNAA is the strength of our proud leaders and members, because with the strength of this, the proudness and the strength of this members will be, it's just like a domino effect that it could go into the local chapter. And also our opportunities. We have a lot of opportunities. I would like to have an innovation, because if you look at the study, 90,000 nurses are not still, Filipino American nurses are not still part of the PNAA. So that is, and also our aspirations to be one of the greatest organization in United States. And also we are going,
Sorry, Dr. Aying, your time was up. The next candidate is Victoria Pike. Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
And let me pick your question. And Victoria, your question is, if elected as President-elect, what is your commitment to address conflicts and divisiveness in the association, if there's any, upholding the PNAA mission and vision in spite of the differences among its members? Let me repeat, if elected as President-elect, what is your commitment to address conflicts and divisiveness in the association, if there's any, upholding the PNAA mission and vision in spite of the differences among its members? You have 1 minute to answer your question, and your time begins now. Thank you.
As President-elect, I would commit to provide unity in the PNAA. Nationally, we should work together as one professional organization, putting us in a stellar position, competitive with other nursing associations and nursing organizations. It would be great to have the name of the Philippine Nurses Association as the topmost selection and premier organization that any Filipino American can be a member. Of all of the 150,000, only 5,000 or less are members. Something has to be done right. And we would promote that commitment by doing initiatives that are creative and would be the stellar organization of the future by innovations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victoria Pike. And the last candidate, Dr. Marlon Saria. Hi, Dr. Saria. Your question, Dr. Saria, is if elected, what would be the first thing that you would do once you take over the PNAA presidency and why? Let me repeat. If elected, what would be the first thing that you would do once you take over the PNAA presidency and why? You have 1 minute to answer your question and your time begins now. Thank you.
If elected, we will do the right thing, and that is to talk to President Gloria and make sure that we are synced in terms of our plans. We need to make sure that there's continuity in PNAA, work with the past president, work with the future president, the incoming president, leading forward into the term that I will be having if elected in 2024. So there will be a lot of collaboration work with Dr. Beriones and her team to make sure that we have a future, a sustainable future for PNAA.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saria. Madam Chair, that concludes the leadership pillar question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. So now let's go to Ms. Lourdes Carriago to answer questions on membership and membership engagement.
Hi, I have the candidates container here, and then my first candidate to ask the membership and membership engagement category would be Dr. Marlon Saria. Dr. Saria, I have one question for you. There are certain policies on membership that need to be revisited. What is your position on membership fees and the 50-mile radius requirement? May I repeat? There are certain policies on membership that need to be revisited. What is your position on membership fees and the 50-mile radius requirement? You have 1 minute to answer the question and the time starts right now.
We always need to look at the spirit of the policy. So those policies were written years back, and the context and condition years ago is so different from where we are now. So we always need to look at the context of where we are now and base our decisions. It will not be my decision alone. We have an executive board who will create that decision. We have our chapters and our members. We need to solicit information from the rest of PNAA to make sure that we are indeed making a decision based on what PNAA wants and not what I want. So we will look at those policies. What that might be, again, will be different based on the context of where we are in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saria. The next president-elect candidate that I have is Dr. Jennifer Aying.
Hi, Lourdes.
Hi, you ready for your question?
Yeah.
How would you effectively engage members and officers, including the millennials, baby boomers, and seniors, to actively participate in any of the activities of this organization? May I repeat? How would you effectively engage members and officers, including the millennials, baby boomers, and seniors, to actively participate in any of the activities of this organization? You have 1 minute to answer the question, and the time starts right now. Thank you.
Okay, as a leader, this is what I'm gonna do. PNAA will embrace the intergenerational population or leaders, the same as the intergenerational generation to embrace PNAA. So with the baby boomer, I will start with the baby boomer. Baby boomer and our seasoned nurses should be the mentors and also for advices for our millennials. The millennials are a little bit tricky. Millennials, we want them to be also embracing the PNAA. So in order for them to do that, for us to do that, is we will give them leadership responsibilities that they could own, and having them like they are part of the organization that will, that will embrace them, the PNAA. And we will have a lot of, initiatives that continuing education.
Thank you, Dr. Ying. I'm sorry, your time is up. And the last but not the least, I'm sorry, I put the question. The last candidate is Vicky Pike, Victoria Pike. Hi, Vicky. You ready? You have to, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's your question. What are your innovative plans to recruit new members that has been in your mind that has not been tried before? What are your innovative plans to recruit new members that has been in your mind and has not been tried before? You have 1 minute to answer the question, and the time starts right now. Thank you.
I have a proven track record of being the highest membership in all of the regions. And right now, it has been proven since February that I had done an innovative strategies in increasing that membership. For example, we had done an open membership forum that were generated to all of the regions, and it has proven, and we had given 40 free memberships. I would continue that initiative and some other initiatives that would include making a buddy system, having friends, recruiting friends, bringing executive board members and other younger generations into the table by creating that synchronicity, we will encourage more members nationally and also by chapter and by regions.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Vicky. Madam Chair, that concludes the pillar on membership and membership engagement. May I turn over to you?
Thank you, Lourdes, and thank you for our candidates. Are you keeping tab? They are all excellent. So now let's go to Erlinda Gonzalez to ask about PNAA policies, ethics, and nursing legislation. Erlinda? Erlinda, unmute yourself, please. Erlinda, please unmute yourself. Okay.
The first candidate is Dr. Saria. And Dr. Saria, my question is, how would you uphold PNAA's code of ethics, specifically with regards to transparency with members, financial stewardship, or conflict of interest? You may choose one. Let me repeat that question. How would you uphold PNAA's code of ethics, specifically with regards to transparency with members, financial stewardship, or conflict of interest? Please select one from the three. Your minute starts now. Thank you.
Thank you, Erlinda. So with transparency, the members have access to all the records that are being discussed by the executive board through the minutes of the meeting. So we just want to make sure that they have access to that. And also in that minutes are all the financials of PNAA that is accessible. Again, that is provided in the minutes of every meeting that is held by the executive board. So we need to make sure that our members are aware that they can request that, that there's no hidden agenda. The other important thing that I have done for the Western region is I've opened up our executive board, our copper meetings, to all the members who wish to attend. We may have closed doors meeting, but we've never had that in the past 2 years. Everyone is welcome to attend. If they want to speak up, they have to speak up through their president, but everyone is welcome to attend our meetings and see what is being discussed and what's on the table. Because they said if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. So we just want to make sure that we have that available to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saria. The next candidate is Dr. Jennifer Aying. And my question is, it's rather long. So Understanding of hospitals and institutions has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, with nurses retiring or going to staffing agencies to earn more. Do you think it is still a morally sound socioeconomic policy to recruit nurses from the Philippines, which drains the Philippines of its own staffing resource? Let me repeat that question because it's long.
Yes, please.
Understaffing of hospitals and institutions has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, with nurses retiring or going to staffing agencies to earn more. Do you think it is still a morally sound socioeconomic policy to recruit nurses, which drains the Philippines of its own staffing resource? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
I could hardly hear you, Linda. It's really your garbled.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay, may I read it? Understaffing of hospitals and institutions have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, with nurses retiring or going to staffing agencies to earn more. Do you think it is still a morally sound socio-economic policy to recruit nurses from the Philippines, which drains the Philippines of its own staffing resource? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it is still morally okay to recruit nurses from the Philippines, but I also warn the Philippines to have a limit on the number of nurses that they are going to send abroad, because otherwise we will be drained in the Philippines as well. So and also there are legislations that needs to be worked on too, like in here in Massachusetts, the shortage is being addressed as well. So it's if we ask about the morally component of it, yes, I would agree.
Thank you. And the last candidate is Victoria Pike. Hi, Vicky.
Hello, Erlinda.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The question is, what changes, if any, would you propose in the following PNAA structures? Governance, business operation, election of officers. Choose one structure to discuss. Let me repeat the question, please. What changes, if any, would you propose in the following PNAA structures? Governance, business operation, or election of officers? Please choose one structure to discuss. You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now. Thank you.
I would choose governance. One of the goals, if I become a president-elect, is to have a responsive and accountable leadership whose governance and service is inclusive and grassroots-oriented. It means that as a leader, you have to be the leading team with your executive board so that you can have an accountable response when a member asks a question. They are entitled to have answers to their questions. That's why you are the leader. Also, we need to include all the grassroots, not just among PNAA executive board members. Leadership is accountable for their members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda Gonzalez. And now we move on to the communication pillar. And may I call on Mr. Angelo Bosque.
Yes, good afternoon, PNAA, and good afternoon, candidates. Are you ready? I have the first candidate, Dr. Marlon Saria. Are you ready?
Ready, Angelo. Thank you.
I get your question. Once elected as president-elect, what innovation and communication would you introduce or enhance a current communication tool? I repeat, once elected as president-elect, what innovation and communication would you introduce or enhance a current communication tool? You have 1 minute to answer that, and it starts now.
So it is really great that all the candidates for president-elect have been RVPs because they know the system and how that communication goes down from national all the way to the chapters and the members. And I have to say that at least for my region, I'll speak for myself, it's still a little bit broken, and I'm partly take responsibility for that. So as president-elect, that is one of the things that we will need to look at. How do we optimize that communication from PNAA down to the region, down to the chapters? We have committees, and every committee has a member from the region. Why are we not utilizing them? Why do we have to bottleneck everything through the RVP? There are many ways of optimizing communication that we can do, and now that I have seen it firsthand as the RVP, I think I'm in a good position to be able to affect that change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saria. Let's move on to the next. We have Victoria Pike. Lati Vicky, are you ready?
Ready, Angelo?
Here is your question. What other organizations could PNAA collaborate with to ensure attainment of its goals in uplifting the image of Filipino American nurses and all its members? I repeat, what other organizations could PNAA collaborate with to ensure attainment of its goals in uplifting the image of Filipino American nurses and all its members? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
What a great question. Thank you. This is an initiative that I would really take on, that we should align ourselves with other organizations like the ANA, the INSEMNA, the Black Nurses Association, and Hispanic organizations. I have a proven task which I had done in the Eastern region and Massachusetts, collaborating with the Black Nurses Association and the Hispanic organizations. In that realm, we were able to produce a lot more leverage in terms of creating a professional educational program, creating more professionalism, and creating an ethical leadership development program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ate Vicky. And we're down to our last candidate, Dr. Jennifer Aying. Hello, Dr. Jenny. How are you?
I'm doing good, Angelo. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Here is your question. Do you agree that it is critical to have a monthly chapter and regional meeting? And how would you ensure that communication would reach each member? Let me repeat. Do you agree that it is critical to have a monthly chapter and regional meeting? And how would you ensure that communication would reach each member? You have 1 minute to answer, and it starts now.
Yes, it's very important. And actually, every monthly report meeting should be a must, because this is how we could communicate from the leadership, from the national to the grassroots. That is our goal. So how will I know that this message has been transpired to the grassroots? Is through our RVPs, the COPRRs, and our circle of presidents. Because during the meeting, we will ask what happened to the initiatives that we did. So that is how we could know that the message is really transpired to the grassroots. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aying. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Back to you.
Thank you, Angelo. We're almost there. Let me call on Daphne Verai to ask questions on financial growth.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm glad to be back asking this question. So for the Vice President-elect candidates, I have the first one, Dr. Marlon Saria. Dr. Saria, here's your question. Okay. What positions in the PNAA organization would you promote to be paid and why? Are there added positions or programs that you can envision that would be beneficial to PNAA in the long run? I repeat, what positions in the PNAA organization would you promote to be paid and why? Are there other positions or programs that you can envision that would be beneficial to PNAA in the long run? You have 1 minute to answer the question and your time starts right now.
Thank you, Daphne. Most other organizations that I'm a part of has an executive board that is voted, and they have an executive director that is a staff, and the executive director reports to the board. The executive director is the only employee of the board. Now, if we have more money and more resources, the executive board can hire people under them to be able to run this organization. What are some of the challenges that we see with the current structure that we have right now? Membership, education, those are some of the committees that are very heavily burdened in terms of the work. You could ask Melissa. So those are the things that we need to think of in terms of if we were to hire staff at our national office, how can we use that staff to help those committees, in fact, help get more members, look at our membership program, look at our membership recruitment, and all those programs that we struggle with and that take a lot of time of our volunteers because they are volunteers even if they're elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saria. And the next candidate, Dr. Jennifer Aying. Question is, Dr. Aying, can you unmute yourself? Thank
Yeah,
you.
I did. Sorry about that, Daphne. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. All right, your question is, what specific plans or initiatives would you propose to ensure the immediate and long-term financial growth and sustainability of PNAA? I repeat, what specific plans or initiatives would you propose to ensure the immediate and long-term financial growth and sustainability of PNAA? You have 1 minute to answer and your time starts right now.
What I'm going to do is to have an immediate and also the long term is the grant. The grant is the money immediate, just like we do right now with the CDC and the APIHF. We are the infectious prevention and control, and there is that grant right away. And the other for the long term, it's also partnership, and the same is the partnership with other organizations like the pharmaceuticals, also in our PNAA, we have to revamp and also elevate the existing process like the collaborations with the West and Means Committee and also the PNAF Foundation.
Thank you, Dr. Aying. And so we are down to the last candidate and the last question. That's for Victoria Pike. And Vicky, here's your question. Where do you see PNAA in the next 5 years, including your business plan for the PNAA, PNAAF Legacy Headquarters? I repeat, where do you see PNAA in the next 5 years, including your business plan for the PNAA, PNAAF Legacy Headquarters? You have 1 minute to answer and your time begins right now.
That vision of PNAA comes because when I started thinking about being the next president-elect, I envisioned PNAA to be a stellar organization, being that I have seen all of the talented members of PNAA on my first attendee forum that I attended in 2013. So that advancing PNAA is going to be a high learning organization with a constant state of leveraging our talents, and every single member of this organization has a lot to offer. How would we do that? By financially being a sustainable organization. What would we do? We should leverage our fundraising capabilities, not only personally, but also through sponsorships and pharmaceuticals, as we said, and also other organizations that are
Thank you, Vicky. Sorry, you're muted. Okay, Madam Chair, we've completed the task and back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daphne. And there you go. One of them will be the PNAA president in 2024. Hopefully, this forum has brought to you some help in choosing your leaders. They are all excellent, but some are better than others, and you prefer somebody who you might think represents you better, right? So let's call on our president-elect, Dr. Gloria Beriones, to do her closing remarks. But let me just remind you that after this, those of you who would like to join us in the Zoom picture, try to accept your panelist invite in your email to join us. Dr. Beriones?
Thank you. So on behalf of the over 50 chapters across the country, we want to thank the NOMELEC, our chairperson, Madeline Yu, and of course, in the absence of Dr. Doliente, we also want to say thank you and to all of the members, starting from Emily, Danuco, Lourdes Cariaga, Erlenda Gonzalez, Angela Busque, and Daphne Veray. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for the hard work that you put in the planning. And most of all, to the co-chair, Carol Robles. Carol Robles, thank you for being our IT tech as well. So to all of you, we have heard the passion and the commitment of all these future leaders for 2020, 2024. What we have heard are truly exceptional programs that they envision to execute come the term 2 years after July of 9, 2022. I've heard strategic planning, I've heard leadership, I've heard membership as the core of most, if you will, of these RVPs, as well as the president-elect. Having heard all of this commitment, I'd like just to say to you that I welcome any one of you that truly will lead PNAA in 2022, 2024 in partnership with me. I want you to open your hearts to look at your commitment for the good, for the mission and vision and goals of the PNA of America. I will leave you with the pearls of wisdom, because come May 9, the beginning of the election, until June 12, 2022, well, it ends, the next leaders that will lead the PNAA to the greater heights that you said you will do will happen. And I want you to live up to what you promised. We heard you loud and we believe in you. We believe in you. So having said that, I'd like to leave with the best advice to each and every one of you. You always advocate to every Filipino American nurse in the United States of America, whether they are a member or not, to promote their positive image. You promise that you will follow through of what you promised you will do, that you will be visible to the members, to the grassroots that you said are the key, our members, that we are going to promote a healthy work-life balance for all of us executive board. We will have fun. We will passionately deliver what we believe is the right for the Filipino American nurses based on the mission, vision, and goals, but we will balance our lives so that we will have fun and we will love each other. We will love each other, guys. That is the promise that I want to come from all of you. That will be in touch with our values and practice principles of leadership and inclusive leadership, and to develop a circle of advisory and network and share the best practice from all the past presidents of the PNA of America that made us who we are right now, because they work so hard. We need to respect and continue to get their values and their wisdom to lead us to the next 2 years and beyond. And with your new knowledge and your love to serve, I am going to be with you always, loving you with all my heart. So promise me that you will continue that commitment for the betterment of the PNA of America. I wish you the very best, and God bless all of you and your families and all of us. Mabuhay PNA of America.
Mabuhay! And thank you from the very passionate next president, Dr. Biriones. Don't forget our timekeeper. Linda Ferrer. It's a difficult job to listen and time people. So thank you to our timekeeper too. And I would like to thank the candidates and their supporters for holding a very professional and positive campaigning. Again, May 9 to June 12, keep on doing what you're doing. Everything has been positive. God bless you all on this Holy Week. Happy Easter to all.
Picture.
In a place outside our native land, in the land of great opportunity, here comes PNAA. We stand for the world to see. We're involved in all the disciplines. We're educators and administrators. We're the best hands-on nurses, responsible, passionate, and true. Let the whole world know. Shine, PNAA, shine. Stand proud, tall, and strong. Shine, PNAA, shine. We will show our dedication, our commitment to the community, our excellence to our profession. We dedicate this to the next generation. Let the whole world know. Shine, PNAA, shine. Stand proud, tall, and strong. Shine, PNAA, shine. Let the whole world
Okay, everybody, please accept your panelist invite so you can join us in our group picture. Thank you for staying with us.
Okay, there's about 22 more who didn't want to join us.
Few seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's see. We'll take 2 screenshots. Okay, say smile, say cheese.
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 Okay. One more. Okay, next page. One more. Okay, we're good. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, NOMELEC team. If you could stay for just 2 minutes. Thank you, candidates, and congratulations and good wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You all did well. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Thanks, Mads. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Happy Easter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, NOMELEC team.
Thank you, NOMELEC.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Miss Mads.
Thanks, Bong. See you in NCR.
See
Yes,
you.
Yes.
in NCR.